Welcome back, fiber friends! In today's video, I'm going to be going over my Make 9 for 2026. 9 projects that I want to make this year. No pressure, just some inspiration for my knitting. I hope you stick around and find out what I'm working on. Hello and welcome to Hattie Knits Along. My name is Allison, but my friends call me Hattie, and I'm a knitter living in the Pacific Northwest. On this channel, I like to talk about all things knitting, what I'm working on, what you're working on, and what we are currently nerding out about. So if that sounds like something you're into, I hope you subscribe so you never miss a video. This is the first year that I decided to make a Make 9. I always have some knitting goals going all year long, every year, but this year I decided to make a specific Make 9 because I already had some yarn that I really wanted to assign to projects, and I have some ideas of projects that have been in my mind on my queue for a while now, and I want to be very intentional about getting those things done this year. Last year I knit about 35 objects, so 9 is definitely going to be doable for me, and I'm definitely going to make more than 9 things as well. But I think it's nice to make sure that I'm getting those things done that have been on my list for a while and things that I'm excited to try out as well. So let's dive right in. There is definitely a mixture of different types of objects that I am planning to make this year. There's a few sweaters, a shawl, a vest, a couple of accessories, and so I'm gonna break it down. It's not gonna be in any specific order, but I think I'm gonna start with the garments. The first project on my Make 9 is the Blue Bayou sweater by Isabel Kramer, and you might have noticed that I'm actually wearing it today. So I've already completed the first project on my Make 9. I cast this sweater on January 1st, and I finished it over the weekend. So I think it was like about 3-ish weeks, 3.5 weeks it took me to knit this sweater. This sweater is knit up in Tumalo Fibers Creekside Sport, which is a mixture of rambouillet, linen, and silk, and it is really wonderful. It's so fun to knit up. The color is called Threadbare. I'm going to stand up so you can see. There is a lot of variegation in this yarn. There are even little pops of red that you might be able to see throughout. I did not alternate skeins, and I think that turned out fine because there was already so much variegation in this yarn. I didn't really feel like I needed to alternate skeins. Of course, it's always recommended when you are using hand-dyed yarn, but I picked up this yarn at Flock Fiber Festival last August in Seattle, and I was just so smitten with it. I was trying to find the perfect project for it. This was one of those instances that I bought the yarn without a specific idea of what I wanted to knit with it. Around the time of Sacred Sheep last year in November, I was trying to think of a project to cast on so that I could bring it with me and knit on it. And I really wanted to make a traveler hoodie, and I thought this yarn might be good for that because it does call for a sport weight yarn. I knit up almost all of the ribbing, which I think it's like 2 inches of ribbing on the bottom. And I did that like while I was at Sacred Sheep, and I just knew this was not the right yarn for that project. I feel like the traveler hoodie, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, it really needs a squishy yarn, you know, something that fluffs up and like is very unctuous and squishy. And while this yarn is very warm, as I'm wearing this sweater right now, it's not the plumpy, squishy yarn like 100% Rambouillet would be. Because of the silk and linen content, this is a much more like drapey yarn. So I ended up ripping that whole thing out, which was sad, but I'm glad I did because I found this pattern, which had recently come out from Isabel Kramer. Isabel Kramer, if you haven't seen before on my designer bucket list video, she is somebody that I had been wanting to make a pattern of hers for a while, so I thought this was the perfect opportunity. This sweater has a lot of cool features, like it has on the collar a welt, and it also has a welt on the bottom as well. It has regular ribbing on the cuff. It is raglan shaping on this regular raglan shaping like this. And then the body of the sweater is all broken seed stitch. And then the sleeves are just stockinette. So I ended up knitting a size 2, which is not typically the size I would knit. I think for most patterns, I usually knit a size 3. But this pattern called for 2 to 4 inches of ease, which is not very much. And when I was doing the math of my bust and the different sizes, the size 2 seemed like it would be the right fit for me. I also am using a sport weight yarn, and the pattern calls for a fingering weight yarn. I am a very tight knitter, so I wasn't too worried about it being too big. I think it ended up being the perfect size. It is a slimmer silhouette than what I would normally wear. I typically wear kind of boxier fit sweaters, but it's nice to have something different, something to mix it up. And as I'm sitting here right now, like, this sweater is very warm. I was surprised. I thought this would be more of like a springtime or like throw it on in the summer over a dress kind of a sweater, but I am warm right now and it's the middle of winter. So surprisingly, the Rambouillet content in this is really working its magic to keep me warm. Blocking did magic on this sweater. The sleeves were a little shorter than I like, and after I blocked it, they just came out perfectly, and it just has a really nice drape. I'm super happy with the fit of this. So yeah, that was my first project of my Make 9. I already got it done, and I have 8 more projects to go. The next project on my Make 9 is the Farnham Sweater by Knit Pearl Girl. This sweater has been on my to-do list for a while now. At least a year, but I think more than a year. A year ago, I bought the yarn for this sweater. There was a sale happening at Starlight Knitting Society in Portland. I ordered this yarn. It's Knitting for Olive. And yeah, I've had this yarn for now a year. I ordered it last February. And I finally cast it on. So let me show you what I'm working with. First of all, if you follow me on Instagram, you know I also have a new hyperfixation of sewing. And look at this cute bag I made. Has zippers, zipper on top too. It came as a kit. It's called the Quarry Tote in case you're looking for the pattern, but it is so cute. Let's show you the sweater. So this sweater calls for a fingering weight and a mohair held together. In the pattern, she used Sandus Garn, but I got Knitting for Olive. So I have the Knitting for Olive Merino and the Knitting for Olive mohair. I'm almost done with the first ball of the white. Okay. I'm doing very classic colors of white and navy. The white color in Knitting for Olive is called Cloud, and the blue is called Navy. And this is just a very wonderful boxy drop shoulder sweater. You need to start by casting on the back. Oh, that was upside down because there's some short rows in the back. And then now I'm just knitting for a long time to make the drop sleeves on the back panel, and then I will pick up the shoulders, knit some more short rows, knit the front, and then you join it in the round eventually and finish the bottom of the body. And then you pick up for sleeves. And this sweater, as contrast to this blue Bayou, this sweater is 13 to 17 inches of positive ease is recommended. That is an incredible amount of ease. I don't think I've made anything more than 10 inches of positive ease, so 13 to 17 seems like a lot, but being drop shoulder, I think that really fits with having a lot of ease and a boxy fit. I'm making a size 3, which I think I will have like 13 inches of positive ease. Good evening. This is me with 41 centimeters of my Farnham sweater. But I actually only needed 18.75 centimeters. See, I live in the United States and we use inches here, and I was reading a pattern by somebody who wrote it in centimeters. She did write it in centimeters and inches. I give her full credit. It is my fault. I read the wrong thing, but I must now rip this out. This was so much. What should I do? This was 2 yarns held together. Should I wind them up together? I want to wind them up together. Yeah, I'm just going to wind them up on this together. That makes sense, right? Ay, 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 ay. The knitting for olive merino is not the softest yarn I've ever worked with. It feels fine, but paired with the mohair as I'm knitting it up, it just kind of feels like scratchy in my hands, and I'm not the biggest fan of that feeling. I like it better feeling the fabric that is knit up, and I'm interested to see what it feels like after I block it. Did I swatch for this? No, I did not swatch for this, so I don't know how it actually feels. But once I block this, I bet it will soften up a little bit. It's going to be very warm with all this mohair, but I like the way it looks, and even though it's a little scratchy while I'm knitting, I feel like I like, you know, the stripes keep me engaged, and I'm always trying to get to the next stripe. So I think that part of it is kind of fun, even though it's knitting flat and I have to do a lot of purling. It's not that bad. I don't mind it. And yeah, I'm having fun with that one, and I'm excited to finally check that sweater off of my list. I think that came out in 2023 or so. So it's been around for a while, and I'm just now getting to it. So, yeah, I like it though. Oh, as I was talking about this with one of my friends, she was like, "You don't really have any mohair garments, do you?" And I was thinking about it, and I really don't. If I'm knitting with a fluffy yarn, it is usually alpaca, Surrey alpaca. And I just find that so much softer. I also have knit things with brushed cashmere. So she was like, "Oh yeah, you just like the good stuff," which she's not wrong. So it'll be interesting to finally have like a mohair garment. The only mohair thing that I have is a beanie, my iris beanie that I knit a while ago, and I like wearing it. I think it looks cute, but it definitely itches my forehead. So we'll see how a mohair sweater feels. I also knit my mom a mohair cowl. It was just a single strand of mohair lace. It was crazy, like a spider web. She likes it, but it was not for me. Anyways, let me know. What do you guys think about mohair? Do you use it a lot in your projects? My friend that I was talking to has several mohair garments, so she loves it, and she also mentioned that it helps sweaters wear a little bit better, less pilling, and last a little bit longer. So I'm interested to see if that is true. And also let me know if you've knit with the Knitting for Olive Merino and mohair held together and what you think of that fabric too. The next project on my Make 9 is the Breakfast Club vest by Veronica Lindberg, or Kutavakika is her Instagram, YouTube handle. She is a really fun designer out of Finland, and she has a really fun YouTube channel. If you don't follow her, you definitely should. She makes a lot of really neat things. She's anyways, she partnered with Ching Fiber last year to make this vest, and they dyed up some yarn in their like boucle yarn, which is called Baby Teddy. That's their name of the boucle yarn. Why can't I talk today? All right, so I ordered a kit of this a while ago, and I think I got it last May, and it's just been sitting on my shelf. So I put this on my Make 9 to make sure that I get it done this year. I think it'll be super cute once it's finished, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I haven't knit with boucle yarn before. The fuzzy details. Baby Teddy is a very good, accurate description of this yarn. This color is peachy pink, and this is the main color of the vest, and then it has some like outlining on the cuffs and collar, I think, and they use this color Blueberry Foam and this color Berry Jam. I love the combo of like a fire engine red with a light pink. Like, that is such a cool combo that I don't... Oh, and you could see. I like it so much, I put it on my nails. So I think that will be really fun. And then the little pop of blue will just add a lot to it. Yeah, I think this will be a fun project. I just haven't started it yet and don't have a lot to say about that. I think this vest has buttons down the front, so it's not a pullover. So it'll be knit flat, and the kit was really cute. Came with a tote bag and some stitch markers and buttons and things. I think I did an unboxing, and I'll link the video up here a few months ago. So anyways, that is the Breakfast Club vest. I forgot to say the fiber content of this boucle yarn is 65% baby alpaca, 35% silk, and yeah, so it's just baby alpaca and silk, so it's going to be nice and soft. This is 50 grams and 325 meters. The next pattern on my Make 9 is the 6 of Daisies Cardigan by Dagan. Now, this sweater is been on my list because, well, first of all, it just looks really cool. Dagan is a designer. I think she lives in Boston area maybe, and she makes ready to wear stuff, but she makes knitting patterns, and she also makes like knitting accessories. If you have seen the very popular baseball hat that says knit on it, or I think there's ones that say wool on it too, Dagan is the designer behind those hats. And anyways, so the 6 of Daisies cardigan looks really neat, and it has a choice between using intarsia or stranded color work to knit this up. I have yet to try intarsia knitting, and I think that this would be the perfect one to start with because it's not like a ton of different colors, so I'm hoping that managing the bobbins won't be too difficult. I'm yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it out. I think it will be really fun. And I think having color work with intarsia just leads it to lie a lot flatter and not have all the long floats in the back. Being a cardigan with this opening up, I want it to be nice and neat on the inside as well as the outside. So yeah, I think that will be a really fun project to challenge my skills a little bit this year. The pattern calls for the Camera Rose Snuff Nug yarn, which is a yarn from Denmark, and it is 55% baby alpaca, 35% cotton, and 10% extra fine merino wool. If I can get my hands on some Snuff Nug, that is what I would like to use. It is, I believe, it's a bulky weight yarn, so it's pretty thick, which also I think will be nice for doing intarsia for the first time. I'm not gonna having to be doing this for a million years. Bulky weight sweaters will knit up pretty quickly. It comes in a million different colors. One of my good friends is planning a trip to Copenhagen this summer, and so if that goes through and she's going, I asked if she would pick me up some of this Snuff Nug yarn. I could, of course, order it from somewhere and get it delivered to me, but I think it would just be a really cool souvenir. She is a very good friend of mine, and I know she would be happy to bring some yarn back for me. So I'm thinking if she goes there and she can pick me up that yarn, I'll just take whatever colors she can find. I think that'll be really fun. Otherwise, you know what else would be a good yarn for this, I think, would be Wandering Flocks Fluff. That yarn is so wonderful. I don't know if it's quite a bulky weight. It might be a little thinner than that, like a heavy worsted, but it's definitely the right fiber content. It's got this like alpaca and cotton and a little bit of merino, I think, and it is so soft. I made the jaunty shawl out of that yarn, and I can wear it around my neck for hours, like all day long, and I never get itchy. It just feels so nice and warm and soft, and I love that shawl. So that would be a great choice for this sweater, I think, if for some reason I can't get the Snuff Nug. Tell me if I'm saying that wrong too, please, because I'm not sure. The final garment on my list is the Doppio Sweater by Sung-hee Hong, which is another popular sweater that came out a few years ago. For the Doppio Sweater, the designer used 2 fingering weights and a lace weight held together to make a bulky weight gauge, which is, I think, pretty interesting. It's a compound raglan sweater, so it's knit top down from the collar, and it has some raglan increases, but it's kind of a curved raglan, so it has more increases for the body or the sleeve. I think the sleeves and the body are not always increased at the same time, so they have slightly different increase rates, and that makes it this really interesting shape that I think is unique and not quite like other raglan sweaters. You could see that it's quite cropped, and I think that looks really good for this type of sweater that is bulkier, fluffy, and has that compound raglan shaping on the top. I don't have yarn for this particular project yet, but I'm floating a few ideas. One yarn I really want to get my hands on is the Noro Madara Saki colorway, which is colorway number 1. I went to the coast a few weeks ago, and there's a very cute yarn shop there, and I had checked online the week before, and I bought Noro at this yarn shop before. They had Noro Madara, they had the Saki color, but they were out of it by the time I went there. And she said she had bought like 300 skeins and it was already gone, so that was a bummer. But hopefully I can find something. That is like a heavy worsted, I think, gauge. So maybe if I had that and paired it with like a mohair or surrey, that might help me get the gauge that is needed for this sweater. Anyways, I have some loose ideas of what I want for this sweater, and maybe the next yarn shop I go to or the next fiber festival I go to, I will be inspired to pick some yarn up there. First of all, I had to leave for a little while because my camera ran out of battery, but you don't know that because hopefully this is all seamless for you. Anyways, I'm back, and the next 4 projects are all going to be more like accessories or smaller projects, not necessarily a full garment. So the first one is one I also casted on in January, and that is the Posy Shawl by Tin Can Knits. Let me show you what I've got so far. I have it in this Flock Fiber Festival bag, which is super cute. Oh, and also I have this wonderful pin from Shelly Can. This is taking forever, which is kind of how I feel about lacework shawls. I haven't really knit too much lace in my knitting career. I have knit some, but not too much, and this is a lot. So the beginning of it was really fun. It was kind of like a mixture of garter and stockinette in these ridges, and you do a lot of increasing pretty quickly. So it gets quite long, and it's kind of bunched up on the ends here, so you can't even really see how long it is. But now I have entered into the lacework section, and it looks a little spiderwebby right now. But one of my questions about lacework that maybe some of you more experienced folks can help me with is, how do I know if I made a mistake in my lacework? This is knit back and forth, and it calls for a lot of yarn overs and things like that. And I wonder, like, if I accidentally skip a yarn over as I am going through, how would I know if I skipped it or not? It does not give me, the pattern doesn't give me stitch counts for every single row. So maybe I could do some math and try to figure out what the stitch count should be, but that I don't have that information right now. And so it's not like I can count the stitches. Plus it's like 300 stitches. So I don't know if I want to count that after every single row to make sure I'm right on. But I do feel like I'm not getting the exact pattern that I was hoping for out of this lace work. And maybe once it's all blocked out and finished, it'll still look cool, but it's not exactly the like round circle posy pattern that I was hoping that it would be, and that you could see. And I'll post some pictures of the pattern from the website. I've done the first chart of the lace work, and I believe there are 3 charts. So maybe I will get better at it in the next chart, but I've kind of taken a pause from this for a few weeks, so I need to get back into it. The yarn I'm using is awesome. This is the Merino Singles from the Wandering Flock in the color Fete, and it's a singles base, so there's no ply to it, and it's 100% merino wool, and it is so incredibly soft. I have been wanting to knit a shawl with a singles base for a long time, and I saw this color at Flock Fiber Festival, and I saw it on Saturday, and then that night I had like a dream about this color, and I had to go back the next day and pick it up because I just knew I needed it. So I have 2 skeins of this, and let me see if I have the ball tag. It's 100 grams and they're 400 yards each. And like I said, 100% superwash extra fine merino. So far, I've been so happy with every single skein of yarn I've gotten from the Wandering Flock. I think the quality of their bases is wonderful. It's so soft most of the time. They have unique bases that I haven't seen very much, and their colors are amazing. Just so different and fun, and I don't know. I'm super happy with everything I've gotten from them. So that is that project. This is what I have left of the first ball, and this is the second ball. Already wound up. So I'll get back into that. But it's also like knitting lace from a chart is like not something I can just do on the fly. I have to like sit down and think about it. So I have to be in the right kind of mood for that. It's not stockinette in the round, that's for sure. Okay, the next pattern on my list is the Happy Poppy Socks by Stone Knits. I have made at least one pattern of Stone Knits before, but she makes beautiful, her name's Charlotte Stone. She makes beautiful color work socks, and she's released several books, all with a ton of color work sock patterns in it. Plus, she has like standalone patterns on Ravelry, and they are all so unique and really interesting. I think one of the challenges I have with knitting like color work socks is I really like the colors that they're usually designed in, especially if they're supposed to be a certain picture. Like there's one of like chicken and eggs, and there's others of like hearts or chili peppers or coffee. And I have a hard time like having that very specific color of those items. And so I tend to shy away from the color work socks unless it's like a basic pattern. Like the pattern I did knit of hers was the under the quilt socks, which were like these quilt stars pattern, and that could be in any color. So anyways, I got this yarn. In the December Sock Squad from Farmer's Daughter Fibers. And I decided not to do Sock Squad in 2026, which is a little bit sad, but also good because I'm a little bit behind on my 2025 socks. But this is the colorway I got in December. It is this wonderful, like poppy colored red, and it's called There Is Rest in Beauty. It also came with this little mini skein, which is also cute. But once I saw this color, I remembered the Happy Poppy Socks by Stone Knits, and I knew this would be the perfect color for those poppies. So I'm happy to finally have a colorway that matches one of the patterns, and I really want to knit those socks with this yarn. This is the Highwood sock base from Farmer's Daughter, and it's 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon, 400 yards and 100 grams. I'm definitely I have to find a good color to go with this one. Obviously, this mini skein's not going to be enough to go with the poppy color for those socks, but I think I'll find it soon enough, and yeah, I'm really happy with this color and excited to knit those socks. I do love knitting socks, and it's been a couple of months since I finished a pair. I guess the last ones I knit were the Ooey Gooey socks over Thanksgiving break. So that is on the list. The second to last pattern on my Make 9, I don't know if I'm going to try to say this word or not. This is a pattern by Ysolda Teague, who is from England or Great Britain. I don't know. Sorry, Ysolda. I don't know which part of the country you're from. But she's from the United Kingdom. The pattern is called Cadeutje slippers. I'm not sure. So these slippers are really unique because they are knit not only with a bulky weight yarn, but like in a non-superwash yarn, but also you mix in some unspun yarn into the soles while you're knitting them in. And you do this traditional technique called thrumming, where you don't necessarily knit the whole piece of the roving into the slipper, and it creates like a layer of the roving on the inside sole of the slipper. As you wear the slipper, that part will act kind of like when you have a sheepskin insert in a slipper, and it'll kind of felt down and get really soft and matted and add some extra cushion to the slipper. It sounds so lovely. I have made slippers from Ysolda teak before. I've made the cabin slippers, which were a brioche style slipper that I made from one pair for my husband and one pair for my daughter, and those turned out really adorable. These have a similar look where they're not brioche. They just come up a little bit higher, more like kind of a sock slipper fit to them. And you could get really creative with the bottom of the slippers in the colors that you choose. So I have like a whole bunch of like needle felting wool that I could pull from. And the main color that I'm going to use is this Cotswold wool that my parents got for me. They actually visited the Cotswolds in England last year, and they know I'm a knitter. They were going to this like fiber hub, so they had to pick me up some yarn. They got me 3 balls of this. It is 50 grams, 50 yards, chunky knit, 100% Cotswold wool. Our wool is sourced from local sheep in the Cotswolds and spun at the Natural Fiber Company spinning mill in Cornwall. This wool even came with a picture of the sheep that it came off of. So that's really sweet. So I thought it would be really fitting to knit from a British designer with this British wool and make a really unique, funky slipper out of this. Yeah, I have the roving, I have the wool, so it won't be too far off when I feel like knitting slippers. I will do that. I just got some nice wool clogs for Christmas time that I've been wearing every day in the house. So I guess my super need for slippers isn't high right now. Also, over the holidays, I knit 3 pairs of sailor slippers as gifts. So yeah, I'm taking a little break from slippers, but I'm ready to go with the yarn and the pattern when I am ready to knit slippers again. The last pattern on my Make 9 is the Robin Beanie by Sari Nordlund. Now this is basically a ribbed beanie. It is 2x2 ribbing, and I believe it is top down, which is always fun for a beanie because you can just keep going and make it as long as you want to. The yarn called for is a DK weight, which is done by holding a lace weight and a fingering weight yarn together. And I just recently finished a test knit for Jessie Made that was made out of Birdie, which is a Surrey alpaca lace weight from the Lamb Kid, and I have about this much left of that yarn. This is the color Midge, which is this amazing electric purple color. I'm trying to get the right, so it's not like blown out. But anyways, it's a beautiful bright purple color, and I was thinking about pairing it with my November Sock Squad yarn that I have not opened up yet. It's quite variegated, but it is purpley, bluey, periwinkly still, and I think with the addition of this midge, it'll be very purple. And so I think that could be really fun in this hat. And also this yarn is super soft This is Bighorn sock, 75%, 19.5 micron superwash merino, and 25% nylon. So paired with the Surrey, it'll be fluffy, warm, bright purple, and yeah, the pattern says to make it so there's a double folded brim, but of course, like since it's top down, I can make it as long as I want to. Sorry wears hers in the pictures like kind of up and a little bit pointed, but I'll just see how this is knitting up and what I want to do with it. If I want it to be more of a fitted beanie or more of a loose, not slouchy, but pointy beanie, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, a beanie isn't like a super crazy exciting project, but part of the goal of this Make 9 is looking at what I have and what I'm excited to use. And I loved knitting with this midge color birdie, and so I'm excited to have another project for it. When you buy lace weight yarn, you get so much yardage out of each ball. It's insane. So I think that it'll be enough. I haven't weighed it, but I think it'll be enough to pair with this and make a really cool hat. I think she calls for 328 to 383 yards, but also, like I said, knitting top down, I could just go until I run out of yarn too. So anyways, that is number 9, and of course, more patterns will come up that I want to knit. This doesn't include anything that is going to be released this year, which I'm sure I will get excited and inspired by those things as well. I've been on my sewing kick, so those will be some makes that I never listed here. I just ordered some fabric to make some pants for myself, so that'll be really fun. And let me know down below if any sewing content interests you. I could take more videos of that stuff. I want to finish this video by saying that the things happening in the United States right now are really scary and really awful. And I have a platform that some people watch, and I want to let it be known that like I am not okay with what's happening. I am doing things personally to fight back and to stand up for the things that I believe are right. I know there's a big campaign right now to make a red beanie, the Melt the Ice hat. I bought the pattern. I'm not sure if I'm going to make the hat yet, but it's not part of my Make 9 at least. But there's more to do than just making hats, and make sure you are out there calling your representatives and donating money where you can, showing up on the streets where you can, letting people know that this isn't who we are as Americans and we don't stand for this. So anyways, off on a little tangent there, but I think it's important to let you know where I stand. I have a really great time talking to you about my Make 9. Let me know down below what some of your planned projects are for 2026. And if you have any other video ideas for me for the next few months, I'm hoping to make more videos. I know I say that a lot, but I really am hoping this time. And thank you so much for watching. Happy knitting. Bye.